Imagine getting like your favorite food and saying, oh my God, I know exactly what it tastes like. You can close your eyes, you can taste it in your mind. And then you found out that that food doesn't really taste like that. That somebody went to a lab, put some flavors together, sprinkled it on top to enhance the flavor and make it taste like that because they knew that you like it. Would you feel duped? Well, here's the thing. A lot of times, that's what's happening to you on a regular basis when you're eating especially processed food. You are eating a chemical called MSG, monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate is a chemical to make food have more of a umami kind of taste, which is also known as savory, or giving you somewhat of a smoky, meaty yumminess. So foods that may not taste so good because they're super processed and a lot of the goodness has been removed can now taste good. But the thing is, you find that a lot of those foods are going to be really, really processed and not necessarily great for you, but they taste great to you. Now, here's the thing. MSG, if you look at it as a chemical compound, it's sodium and it's glutamate, neither of which are bad things. Sodium is an electrolyte that helps with fluid balance and health overall in our bodies. However, you don't want to have too much because where there's too much salt in your body, water draws to it and it causes you to be swollen. Nobody wants to be swollen. Glutamate is an amino acid, an essential building block that is used to help with our brain health, memory, and learning. It's really good for you, but the thing is, when you have too much of a good thing, it becomes negative and it has some adverse effects. Glutamate is called an excitotoxin. An excitotoxin is a food additive that's created so that way your food tastes better, but at the same token, it overactivates your neurons in your brain, causing problems and damage and ultimately cell death over time. Who wants that? Nobody. So ultimately, it's altering our brain chemistry. So the controversy is that some people on one side of the argument say that MSG is a natural chemical, it doesn't harm you, there's no issues with it, great, wonderful, awesome, okay? But then on the other side of the argument, there are people saying that, hey, it can be really, really damaging, but the issue is when you have too much. So the issue is when you look at the labels for your food that you're having, oftentimes MSG can be listed as MSG, but then sometimes it's listed as other things. It's listed in other creative ways that you might not recognize. Because of that, you find that you're eating too much MSG, and it's the massive amounts or the increased amounts that creates more of a problem. So they ultimately admonish you to have a normal or moderate amount. What's a normal amount? If you don't know what it is, how much you're having, because there's no notation on your label that says this is how much you should have, you can kind of be in the dark. So here's some quick things that can help you know if you're taking in some MSG-ridden foods. So 95% of processed foods have MSG. What? Okay, so that's a big clue. If you're having processed foods, foods that are not real, true, clean foods that you know where they came from, those foods are probably processed. So you want to think of things like deli meats. Convenience foods are just add water, like instant noodles, and foods like your canned vegetables or soups or broths, things like your bouillon cubes, or even your chicken stock or veggie stock or beef stock, your frozen meals or your frozen pizzas, and even things like your chips and chip-like products, and so many more. Lastly, don't forget, a lot of restaurant foods are also using a lot of MSG. That's how they keep you coming back in the door. So when it comes to common reactions or common symptoms of an MSG reaction, things like diabetes or raised insulin and increased hunger. A lot of times you'll find that the MSG will cause a spike in your insulin, and that insulin then requests for your body to take in more and more food. And so you'll find that you might be overeating. So more processed food begets more processed food, so it makes you want more processed food, and so that becomes the problem. Another issue is hypertension. Hypertension is another one that goes along with this. Higher blood pressure. You can see swelling a lot of times in your hands or your feet or in other places throughout your body. Obesity from constantly eating those processed foods that make you want to eat more and more of them and almost having an addictive kind of property. Here's a big one. Headaches from mild to migraine. You've got a big range that can happen there depending on how much you eat or how sensitive you are. And let me tell you, nobody likes a headache. Nobody wants to wake up Christmas Day, open up a box and say, surprise, it's a headache. No, headaches are unpleasant for everyone. So we also have got sweating, chest pain, breathing difficulties, increased or rapid heart rate, numbness or burning in your mouth, or pain in your mouth. So let me tell you, if you're experiencing any of these things, it may be the MSG. Let me tell you, our health can be a monster when we are not in control of it. And when we're looking at all these chemicals and other things that could possibly causing us to not feel our best, it is so important for us to have a personalized health plan and somebody walking along with us, giving us accountability and showing us the way. I want to give you a personalized health plan so that way you can live in the best health of the rest of your life. All you got to do is go to get180well.com. You can see other testimonials there, but more so than anything, you can schedule yourself for a free discovery call with me so that way we can discuss what you need. So if it's possibly the MSG, I want you to start becoming more aware. Read your labels, see if MSG is in the food, and don't be afraid to ask questions when you go out to restaurants. Don't be afraid to flip a label or a food over, see what you see there. Also look in the comments for other creative ways that MSG may be labeled. Also too, you want to make sure you're drinking lots of water, all right? You want to eat real, true, clean foods. And so stop eating all that processed stuff. Stay away from processed foods. Eat the real deal stuff. And let's work on getting you healthier, all right? But in the meantime, I want you to make sure you stay tuned because we got more to this series on which foods you should stay away from. Also, too, if you have not already, make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit the bell, okay? So that way you can hear when I put new videos out there, you'll be the first one to know about it. Y'all take care. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Bye.